Hey everybody, MK Lover here, and today I just wanted to go ahead and mention something really quick that I had mentioned in my Mortal Kombat 2 version SNES video. I had mentioned that I'd give you guys my final opinion on both games for the 32X and the Super Nintendo version, and I failed to do so, so I apologize, and that's what this video is. This video is basically my thoughts. Um, So with that being said, I just wanted to go ahead and say that um, my final thoughts and my final opinions on both games, and which one to me is better. Um, my final thought is Mortal Kombat 2 for the 32X is much better than the Super Nintendo version. Now a lot of you might be thinking I'm a little crazy, but you know what? Um, Sega was actually, in my opinion, back in the day, a much better system than the Super Nintendo, strictly because you didn't have a lot of problems with, uh, the processor, meaning the games on the Sega Genesis ran a lot smoother than on the Super Nintendo. And for example, the 32X is actually a really big improvement on Mortal Kombat 2 as opposed to the Sega Genesis itself. Um, and it is an improvement as well compared to the Super Nintendo. Like I said, with that being said, the reasons I have for this is that for this Super Nintendo, um, the game runs really choppy, really slow. Um, the, the characters are all blotched out. You know, you can't really get a definitive description of all the characters' faces and stuff like that. Um, the sound and the color is a little bit better in the Super Nintendo version, but that's not enough for me to say, hey, that makes this version of the game much better. And of course, the reason for a 32X version, in my opinion, being much better than the Super Nintendo version is because the game runs nice and smooth. I mean, you have no hiccups whatsoever. You can jump around, get around your opponents. You don't have to worry about if your moves are going to come out or anything like that. Um, the graphics, the sharpness of the characters are actually arcade quality, and that's what I liked about it. Um, you don't have to worry about um, kind of everything being in your way as far as I like to call that MK2 for the Super Nintendo feels confined. You know, you got your name bar isn't in your life bar, or your name is not, the character's name is not in the life bar, so it comes down as along with um, the so-called dragon symbols, the little yellow dots that come up, as far as how many rounds you won. So your character kind of feels confined with a lot of things going on around him. Um, and on top of it, your characters are a little bit smaller. The character sizes are a little bit smaller in the SNES version. So as you guys saw, if you guys want to don't understand what I'm talking about, uh, watch the SNES version and the 32X version side by well, not side by side, but one right after another. They both stages start with the I believe both of them start with the acid pool stage, and if they don't, then just watch the acid pool stages. In the SNES version, there's so much going around. It just looks like there's so many more chains coming down from the ceiling, and that's how those arenas were kind of put together for the SNES version because of the fact that the characters were so small. They had to bring in more definition to the stages around the characters. Now in 32X version, the acid pool stage, you'll see a few hooks here and there, but you can actually see what you're doing. Um, don't get me wrong, the SNES version has its moments where the characters do kind of look a little bit better, but I think that's because the SNES version has, of course, better color, much better coloring, and just a little bit better sound, a little bit better sound. Anyway, with that being said, of course, so like I said, my opinion is 32X version of Mortal Kombat 2 is by far better. A better version of Mortal Kombat 2 compared to the SNES version and the Sega Genesis version. Also, like I was just about to say, with that being said, of course, my final verdict is nothing can beat Mortal Kombat 2, the near perfect arcade version of Mortal Kombat 2 for Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection for the PS3. Of course, you guys know my feelings about that game. That's the closest to being the best version of Mortal Kombat 2 out there to date. So, you know, they still need to fix a little bit with the sound in that game, as I kind of pointed out towards the end of that game after I beat Shao Kahn. Why the sound was a little screwy. Sub-Zero's freeze noise sound needs to be fixed a little bit. But hey, you know, other than that, just a few things like that, it's not going to really turn me away from saying that that game's the best version out there ever. Even compared to the PC version. The PC version still needed a lot of help, and a lot of you guys don't think so, but trust me, I've had the PC version. I've had almost every version of Mortal Kombat 2 there ever was for every system. Sega Saturn, I've seen it for Sega CD, I've seen it for, let's see, what else was it out for? Oh, wait a minute. The only version I have not had it, or have not had the chance to play it for, was the PlayStation 1 version. So, excuse me, I apologize. But for the other versions, as far as Sega Saturn, Sega CD, Sega Genesis, you know, all those versions I've had it for, and Game Boy, Game Gear, you know, Midway Arcade Treasures for PS2, even for the PSP. I've had it all, you know, except for that one version, and I've seen videos on it on YouTube, and the game doesn't really look that. I mean, it looks good, but again, with the whole sound and everything, they really screwed it up. And on top of it, it's got loading time. Just like Trilogy, a lot of you guys wish that they put Trilogy up on PSN, and you know, it would kind of eliminate the loading time. But that's kind of wishful thinking. Trilogy was one of the better games of Mortal Kombat of the Mortal Kombat series, but it was, you know, it was basically, it was an online, excuse me, it was a type of online game that you can just go online and you had so many characters you could choose from, which it would have been cool. You know, they could have taken out the bosses and sub-bosses and basically threw in some other characters from the older games, you know, like how they had MK1 Kano, you know, MK2 Jax, you know, along with the MK3 Kano and MK3 Jax. You know, they could have done it with, they could have added somebody else in there, you know, for past costumes and stuff like that. But anyway. Alright folks, so there you go. I didn't want this video to be this long, but when you start to talk, you kind of just go on and on, lose track of time. So there you go, my final verdict between the 32X version and the Super Nintendo version, 32X version of Mortal Kombat 2 is much better. That's my review, my opinion. And there you have it. Alright, so I'll see you guys soon in my next, in my other videos. Have a good one.